Hey, Slender, y'all. Welcome. It's Tuesday. We're finally back on a Tuesday. Oh, it's been I missed y'all. I really have. And I've gotten to see and talk to a couple of folks over the summer, mainly at other people's shows, and a couple of these little shenanigans of whiskey adventures I've been on this summer. But yeah, I've missed my Tuesday night crew, and I'm so glad y'all are here. We're gonna say hello and see who all is in. Hopefully, the Tuesday night thing gets back in the schedule for you. These guys, I don't know if you've seen Tom on Facebook. He and his wife have been traipsing around Scotland, and so they're there now, early morning in Edinburgh tomorrow, for their last week. I'm so excited. They got to go to some really cool places. So it's good to see Tom's there. And I don't know if you can catch. We'll talk about this in a minute, but Tom sent a beautiful, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. A beautiful wooden um, setup for 4 glasses that he's so absolutely talented in being able to do woodwork. That was so sweet of him. But yeah, it's good to see everybody. And Too Slow is in. Hello, my friend. Always right up there, never too slow. And Jimmy, good to see you, friend. Thanks for being here. I missed you terribly. Sorry I won't see you in November over there. Good to see you, and glad Mark's welcoming, of course, everybody. My biggest cheerleader. Ian, good day to you too, way down on the other side of the world. Um, I'm guessing it's an afternoon, like at maybe a 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm not quite sure on my time, but hopefully you're getting a dram in. And Molasses is in. Hello, my friend. Got a new bottles arrived, so you'll have to clue us in as to what you're going to be pouring there for us for sure. It has been a very busy summer. And look who's up in the middle of the night. Andrew, it's great to see you. I'm glad I can give you an excuse to stay up late now on Tuesdays, Wednesday mornings. Good to see you. Tater Dom is in. Cheers, cheers, cheers with three glasses there. That's awesome. Mark JG, my bud. Oh, talk about getting in trouble. We had some fun this summer. And I see George is in too, but good to see you, George. But yeah, Mark and his wife Allison and me and my Mark, we were part of the crew that went to Texas. We'll get to that. That's actually my first dram tonight. Is that little endeavor. So I'm glad to see that. Stacy's in for a leave. Hey, my friend, miss you. You've got a big excursion coming up, all about that Irish whiskey. Donner passes in. Hello, my friend. It's all good to see the gang getting back back together. Martin's in too. He was part of that cohort that learned how to bottle whiskey this summer. And might I say, his better half is like the primo labeler ever. Yeah, so shout out to Hazel, and her label skills are mad for sure. Um, yeah, it's just great to see everyone. I love how everybody's chatting. I know Rob missed you this summer too, friend. I hope you've been doing well and things are going good for you. Scotty, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Oh, good little group of people. Malt Minion, Chad's in, Chuck, Chad, all the West Coasters. Yay. Daniel on the East Coast. I hope you send me a cold front soon, friend, please. I think we're supposed to have one this weekend, which just means we usually will get rain. But yeah, we could use some relief from the heat for sure. So yeah, it's been a summer. It's so our last Tuesday night was the end of May, and through June, July, and August. Those are some long months, y'all, right? And but it was for a summer where I wasn't going to do much. It seemed like I was traveling every 2 weeks. So yeah, this is a good time for us to check in and to kind of catch up from the summer. I want to find out what y'all did, what your favorite thing was whiskey wise you did this summer. and I'll kind of give you an idea about what some of ours are. And let me know what you're drinking. I don't know if Mark or Martin are drinking what I'm drinking, which look at that color. Look at that color. And here's a hint at what it is. But yeah. Oh, Graham, I'm glad I could corrupt you and stay up. I've missed you, friend. And I hope I don't mess your work schedule up. But it's so wonderful to have you for sure. So yeah, the channel is definitely growing. Things are happening. I got invited to some things this summer, especially Tales of the Cocktail I wasn't anticipating, and we'll chat about that a little bit. And I've missed my Tuesday nights, but in full transparency, every Tuesday night was just about doing me in. From now to the end of the year, there are 18 Tuesdays, and y'all, it's a lot. And I've been doing a lot of thinking this summer and trying to figure out what where I want to go with the channel, what we're wanting to do, because I've got really big plans. I've got things that I want to get done, but time is such a problem because I still work full time and, life and all of those things. So, but I really like our Tuesday nights. So I want to talk about a compromise because I don't want to lose this. I really enjoy it. But consistency is a big deal, right? We really want to be consistent about when we're doing, you know, anything like this. And so in this particular case, I wanted to talk to you about these Tuesday nights because I really, really do enjoy them. I love the camaraderie we have. I see Jennifer's in, Whiskey Nose is in. Oh, y'all, I'm so good to see all of you. So here's what I'm thinking. As long as we know which Tuesday it is, let's go with this. So today's the first Tuesday. We're gonna get together on the first and third because I know everybody else is busy. And the closer we get to holidays, it's even harder for everyone to get together on Tuesday nights. But first and third is easy. And we can remember that, right? So in September, it's the third tonight and then the 17th. The 17th, I'm super excited. That is going to be with Scotch drinkers only. Melissa and Howard, who are just like us, crazy for whiskey, and decided, hey, we're going to bring some whiskey over into the States that we can't get. So I'm really excited about talking to them. October 1st and the 15th, November the 5th and the 19th, December the 3rd and the 17th. Put them in your calendar, write them in the diary, book them, Dano. And we'll do that. And that way, that will free up some more time for me to get the other content I'm wanting to get out, because I've gotten into a rhythm over the summer of being able to dedicate certain days to editing, and I'm excited about the video that's coming out next week, all those kind of things. So yeah, so first and third, you'll notice that this November 5th is red. This one right here. For those of us in the United States, that is an election day. However, it is also my birthday, my actual birthday. So we're getting together for my birthday on November 5th. So write that one down. I want all y'all there. And Jennifer is actually going to join me, and we're going to be drinking Springbank, folks. So if you don't have any Springbank, find some, reach out to somebody here, and we'll see. We'll make sure everybody's drinking Springbank on my birthday. Happens to be, we won't talk politics. We may all be wanting to drink a whole lot that night, but it'll be because it's my birthday. So yeah, so that's kind of where we're going for right now. Is going to be, yes, best birthday ever. Oops, wrong one. Best birthday ever. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Mark Broda is in. I see him, and Trooper too. Good to see you. Yeah, book them down. I hope you're doing well. I don't know if you're out on a rig or if you're on dry land. But good to see you, Trooper. And oh goodness, love it. I love all of my peeps. I love it when my peeps get together. So yeah, so we're looking at that, and definitely free up some more time. Uh, we've got those dates done. Um, yeah, it's gonna be fun. So you may notice this looks a little different. If you were here for the summer on the shows I did with folks from over in Scotland, you got to see a sneak peek because this was pretty much my May, my well actually June. This was my project in June over behind me, and this will kind of give you an idea if you're new here or if you weren't aware. But this is our before. This is what the studio looked like before, which was lovely in the way that the camera is done. You know, you just really had some wall and that was about it. But um, I needed some more room. What can I say? Mm, 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 mm. Um, that's pretty tasty. So, which we knew it was. So it was really cool to be able to like do a cleanse. And I don't know if y'all are like this, but I found bottles I didn't really remember I had. Um, there was a lot tucked back behind that yellow chair. There's still a lot tucked back behind that yellow chair. But it has given this whole room a different aura now. Being able to go vertical with that storage space, and especially with the lighting, I'm very happy with the lighting, and I hope y'all think it's cool too. It probably doesn't show as groovy like with all the other studio lights on, but when I have those off and I'm just coming in here reading my book, having a dram, and I have them all lit up, it's all cozy and cool colors, and I don't know, it's pretty fun. So, what I will be doing is releasing a video in the next week or so to show you how to put LED lighting in this Billy bookcase. So these are two IKEA Billy bookcases. Your support has helped me get this project done this summer, because IKEA bookcases are great. They're rated really well for the strength of the shelves. I don't have them terribly overweighted. They're really just too deep. I know some folks maybe go 3 deep on those. But really they're just too deep. But I wanted the lights to go up, but I also wanted to be able to move the shelves, which was important. So basically, I built wiring harnesses in between each shelf so I can move them around. And that's what the video is to show people, because there's really not a lot out there on YouTube on how to light whiskey bottles or any bottles. It's mainly, other types of collections, which typically have a top down kind of diffused lighting situation, where I wanted this backlit. And so yeah, I'm pretty excited. But y'all have to let me know what you think about that. Oh, Andrew, your mom's birthday is on the 4th, and the 5th is bonfire night. I know. I was there in Scotland on my birthday, and it was I forget his name. They did fireworks on my birthday. It's Gus Graham. I know you're gonna know it. Guy Fawkes Day, right? But yeah, bonfire night. Ooh, that's crazy. Thanks for popping in, Mark. I appreciate it. I do. And let's see who else is in. Yay. Oh, hey, Marjan. Good to see you. Yeah, so we're gonna have a really good time. We uh, Jennifer is talking about Pavos is a restaurant in Austin, and that's one of the shenanigans that we did a couple of times, it seems. But yeah, we eat really well when we go to Pavos for sure. Oh goodness. So yeah, that the big project this summer was the bottle storage for sure. And some travel, which I'm going to get to. Actually, I think I wanna talk about this next thing first, which is if Broda's still on. I'm not quite sure if Mark is still on. But we got to go to Austin, and this is my first dram. This, ladies and gentlemen, is, and let me flip this off first so you can see this gorgeous bottle with this gorgeous label. This is the Scotch for Dummies first pick ever. And it's Andalusia whiskey and chocolate malt. And when I tell you it's chocolate malt, and it's Texas chocolate malt, um, just amazing. So they picked their first cask at Andalusia in Texas, Blanco, Texas, west of Austin, and said, "Hey, okay, Patreon friends, come on out, and whoever wants to come out to Blanco, come help us, and we're going to bottle." And that's what we did. And so these guys, I mean, how, like, look at the grin on these guys. They're so, it's Mark, Andrew, and Drew. Sean couldn't make it last minute. This is Mark JG overseeing everything here in the background. But that is their cast. That's their cast. You know, these guys have come a long way and been there for so many of us. And that's where I went to when I first wanted to learn more about whiskey. I wanted to be a dummy right along with them and learn more about this liquid that, you know, just so enamored me. And so they had, for those who are patrons of the dummies and know, y'all know how much we have, they've gone back and forth on different samples and trying to do a bottling, and nothing really hit with them until this. And Texas single malt, American single malt, the color is just absolutely lovely. And it's so I know Martin's on. Zach was there too. That was an absolutely such a great day. It was so much fun. Martin, Zach, Mark, JG, you know, tell me what you all got on on the nose. I mean, because it's not quite Cocoa Puffs, but it's a cocoa powder to me on the back end of the nose. I mean, sweet, kind of you get a little bit of pancake syrup on it, but that cocoa you can't run from on that chocolate malt. So I don't know if y'all gathered that, but if you look at if you look at the font for chocolate malt, what does that remind you of? Willy Wonka, right? That's so it. Oh, Trooper, you would love it. And it comes in at 53 ABV. Espresso with light, sorry. Espresso with light cocoa. Yeah. It's definitely got more of a coffee on the back end of the taste for me, of the palate. I think the chocolate malt would work well with the XP. You know, I think it would if it was more of a smoky cast than a real dirty, earthy, like non-medicinal peat. You know, like a lighter Highland peat. I could totally see that. I could totally see that. Yeah, the Andalusia rolled out the red carpet for these guys. They really did. And, you know, it was so cool to be part of that and be part of that group. And the patrons that had been there. We even got to meet a couple. We had East Coast, Kim was there. We had West Coast, this young couple who we didn't quite know who they were at first. We didn't realize they were patrons because they weren't real, you know, active on the chats and stuff. And they were just absolutely lovely, you know, to be there with us and all excited. They planned their whole trip to Texas around this event. And we ended up getting some houses together and sharing, and just had the best weekend to be able to do that, because we've gotten to know each other through this patron group, for being able to share and support the dummies, because they put out really good content. They're good guys, and you just want to see them succeed, right? Absolutely wonderful. So Andrew says, you never know, Hollywood might do something with the chocolate, malt and peat. Oh, Hollywood, yeah. That I'm sure they have. I am totally sure they have, because they're the Mad Hatters of putting different things together for sure. But yeah, so Martin says he's getting some toffee on the palate as well. Totally get it. Yeah, to me on the front end, I could see the toffee on the palate for sure. I get kind of like a woof of like pancake syrup. But you don't get a bitterness, like if something has too much chocolate malt in it, I would see where it could come over as abrasive and bitter on the ends. But yeah, might take a few drams. I bet we can make sure you get a taste of it. But they offered this experience to their patrons, and the bottling to their patrons. So it's one of those things of being able to support that channel the best way you can, right? Oh, Martin's got a baby to go. Blessings to the new world for that one. Thank you, Martin, for being here. A toffee crisp. That sounds pretty tasty. It does. It does. Yeah. Just kind of like yes, and Anson, Zach's youngest, was there. He did really well. Oh, he did. It was great. It was really, really, really a great time. But yeah, and again, it was cool for them to offer that for their patrons, right? And that kind of brings me to my next point, which is a big announcement. And I want to recognize first and foremost that many of you have been supporters of the channel through the YouTube Camp Drammers, YouTube channel members. And I so appreciate it. I really do. And I've heard from quite a few of you and other folks about other ways to help support the channel that wasn't through YouTube, because YouTube does take a cut. I mean, for what we do get, it's they take a cut, a third, basically 30% of what we have. Oh, I see. Time for a dram is on. Hey, friend. Hey, Gregor. So folks have been asking. And, after 3 years of building content and doing the shows, I feel like the channel is in a really good place, and it's adding value to the community. And I wanted to get it that way, and I wanted to be able to be in a position where I could fulfill even more of that for supporters. So tonight, I'm announcing right here with all of you on, you are the first to know that we're on Patreon. Scotch and the Bayou is now on Patreon. And yeah, 3 years, you would think. We'd have done this a lot sooner. We're still keeping camp drams. Some folks just really want to do YouTube, and I mean, absolutely do it. I do YouTube and Patreon for a couple of channels, and it's just a way that I feel good. I love playing with the icons through YouTube. So yeah, we're now doing adding on availability to do support with Patreon. And so we have a couple of levels. And I mean, the point about having Patreon or something like this is to be able to add resources in to the channel to do other things. We're already planning the trip for next year to Scotland. It's things like equipment. It's the gimbal I just bought, help that Camp Drammers help make that possible. The shells, that kind of thing. You all know this is whiskey. It costs a lot of money. So we wanted to do the Patreon and set it up right, but we want to have fun with it. So we have I have employed my brother to come up with some really cool things. So I'm really excited. I did float this out among a couple of you, but here are our levels. Playing on our theme of Scotch on the Bayou, we have three major animals down here that you really think about when you think about the Bayou. The number one are the mud bugs. Okay. They are the sustenance of the swamp. You know, they feed us all in the spring. They build the foundation of support that we have. I love how my brother Ethan drew this with the cork. It's so cool. At the $5 level. Then we have blue catfish, big flathead catfish, blue catfish. There's so many different types of catfish, but basically big cats are what we call them. You know, when you get a big cat, a big blue catfish, that is some good eating. So then we have the big cat, and then also swamp gators. I mean, they are top of the food chain. So they get the whole bottle. So we wanted to have fun with that, right? And kind of show how folks can have some support, have fun with that. So on the website, you can check that out if that's something that you feel like you want to do to be able to support the channel. We'd love to have it. A big part of this also is being able to communicate with people personally through YouTube. I don't have personal information or emails or names or anything like that to where I can, other than make a post to the membership. There's not a lot of one-on-one conversations that can happen. More of that can happen on Patreon. And so part of Patreon would be, we would do like a Zoom kind of call, at least quarterly, if not every other month or something like that, to where we could put faces and names and talk and, hey, what you drinking? What'd you get last week? And actually kind of do that kind of thing. And also, I want to hear more about what you all are wanting to see on the channel. That's really hard when it's just like one-way conversation or just a little bit in the chat, you know? So that's another reason that we're doing the Patreon, to be able to talk one-on-one with folks and do that kind of thing. I know there's some big changes coming up with Patreon, especially if you're dealing with Apple. Pretty soon they're going to be Apple's going to be charging like 30% on top of the 8% that Patreon does. So if you're interested in that, give me a shout. Talk to me on or email me. And I think there's a particular way you can go through. Even if you're Apple, the iOS is a issue. I'm not quite sure, but we'll figure that out. We'll figure all that out. It's all good. So yeah, want to see who all else is in. Yeah, we got a good group. So beyond going to Texas, we had 3 shows. 3 shows this summer, one a summer, and they were on Sunday afternoons, which in the States, you know, give me a reason to day drink at 2 p.m. East Central Time, right? But at least it was a better time zone for all of my guests who were all in Scotland. And I mean, not everybody is as gracious as Graham here and Andrew, who get up at 2 a.m. to join us on the chat. So we definitely wanted to adjust that time period, and we had a great time, and we had some really, really good conversations with these folks. So if you haven't seen these live shows, I think Alistair's, we went and ran a little long on that one. But we want to, I'm actually working on breaking these down to smaller, more digestible bits. Alistair's was about an hour and 20 minutes, and I started scrubbing it down. I was like, okay, I'm gonna whittle this down to 5 minutes. Just a couple of tidbits here. 33 minutes. I went from an hour 20 to 33 minutes and still did not get. So a couple of them maybe 2-parters, but there'll be 10 to 20 minute digestible things. the biggest thing about the one with Alistair is, he's the distiller of Isle of Raasay, and this is the Duncanna, which is my next dram. Is we spoke for I want to say probably 10 minutes. Now that I'm going back through it in my brain, all about Machrihanish and what his strategy there for Machrihanish is. The Jury Farm is out kind of outside of Campbelltown, on the road in, kind of close to the airport and the golf club out there. But they've been raising and growing barley there for 3 years now, and those crops have been distilled in Raasay. So what they grew there on Jury Farm, they've used in Raasay. Of course, they're going to have a local barley version of Machrihanish when they get going. They should be breaking ground this year, but no more spoilers. I want you to go watch that one. It makes a great podcast if you don't have time to sit there and watch it while you're cleaning the house or washing the car. It'd be a great thing to hear, because his thought process is completely different of the strategy wise as to what he's wanting or what he's doing at Raasay. And that's pretty interesting, because you would think, if you're doing it really well at one place, why wouldn't you just replicate it? And he's like, no, we're going to kick it up and change it a bit. This Duncanna is you got some tiny type on here, y'all. It's peated and unpeated spirit that's been matured in rye casks, and then second maturation in Oloroso and PX casks. So this is absolutely a stunner. If you haven't had it yet, let me get out of the way. The Duncanna. And I mean, y'all, these bottles are just amazing. But yeah, that was oh, hey Mike, good to see you. That was fun. Ooh, I got a lot more peat on the back of that one than I remembered before. Thanks. I'm glad you liked it. It was a lot of fun. Y'all know me, but he's kind of stoic, he's a fun guy, but this is his business. And I had him rolling a couple of times. We had some laughs on it. So it was a lot of fun, for sure. Daniel's wanting to know, what about a swamp Nessie? So we don't have a Nessie in the swamp. What we got is the Rougarou. The Rougarou is kind of like a werewolf man or the boogeyman of the swamp. And yeah, we can make a Rougarou level for Patreon if you want, Daniel. That's for sure. It was to get you told me that should be the Rougarou level. You did. We could do that. Ethan could draw a Rougarou. He's for sure done that before. So yeah, on the Machrihanish, you'll be interested to see they try to copy Springbank, Kilkerran, or the Glen Scotia spirit. So I don't know. They're going to go for a cloudy wort, he told me. I'll give you that little tidbit. Where Raasay is clear. So I was like, okay. And he's already been working with a bodega for them to have 3-year-old seasoned casks. So I'm like, okay. So you're gonna, it's gonna have some peat in there too somewhere. It's gonna do peated and unpeated, cloudy wort, and sherry matured. It's like, ooh. But it's really pretty cool. And the whole evolution, especially with Alistair, coming from this family tie of his great-grandfather being a blender, and his approach to this as opposed to, a distiller's approach or a blender's approach. I think it's just really, really interesting. Yeah, exactly. Right. This is not nutty at all. I mean, you might get a little off of the Oloroso or something like that, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Is that kind of I want to call it like pecan or cashewy kind of nutty taste to it. Um, absolutely. Just throw me in there. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Mark. I'm right there with you for sure. Um, that's great. Yeah, and so then, but wait, there's more. The second show was with Rachel McNeil. And I've always talked about Isla Whiskey Academy. So all three of these people I met during Isla Whiskey Academy, along with Jennifer, of course. But, it's with Rachel owning and being the curator of that incredible event. She had, as one of the speakers, Alistair come in. He didn't have any whiskey on the market. He had only at that point been putting spirit in cask for 2 years. So he was still well out from being able to sell anything. And then you have John McShane, who is absolutely amazing with SMWS, and thankfully has been here in Louisiana for the last 2 years. So we've got to visit and be with him. So that's been a lot of fun to do that for sure. But yeah, these two. And so we'll be breaking those down so you can kind of get little tidbits and digestible moments of them. If you haven't heard John talk, he's the best storyteller. He just I would suggest running his show. Pour yourself a dram at the end of the evening where you can just kind of sit there. He's from Glasgow. He talks with his whole body. His whole body. You can tell on the TV. She's on the computer. He's talking with his whole body. And he has such a passion, not only for Scotch whiskey, but for Scotland. And it comes through so much in every conversation you have with him. It's just super, super nice people. Yeah. Yeah. And isn't that funny? Graham, he was always thinking about the lowlands. He was always thinking about the lowlands. And it was his business partner that said, "Hey, let's go check out this island." And the rest is history. But we laugh about how he literally was handed 2 blank sheets of paper that said, "Go build a distillery." Like, wow, right? I mean, who gets to do that? This guy does. That's for sure. Mm-mm-mm. So yeah, we'll have a We Chat with Alistair part 1 and 2, probably. We Chat with Rachel part 1 and 2. But that'll be out there. And I really am excited about what we talked about microhanish, because not so many folks know about it. Again, they're still in the early, but they got all their permits. They're going to be breaking ground this year. And so we're all going to be real excited when we get those, when we are able to get some spirit running and be able to see it for sure. So a couple more fun things that happened this summer. Oh, as my mother says, I just step in it and come out smelling like a rose all the time. I was not planning on attending Tales of the Cocktail this year. Tales of the Cocktail used to be literally just a fun little festival in New Orleans where people learn to go make cocktails. And it is evolved into the largest beverage and bar industry. I think I think there might be one other one, but it is an enormous bar event. So mixologists, industry people, spirit people, just you name it, they come to New Orleans during the hottest time of the summer because it's cheap, okay, and throw a hell of a good party. Let me put it that way. And I was able to go down for a couple of days, and I got to meet some folks I'm so excited about seeing. And first off is Becky Paskin, who I just absolutely adore. She's doing really great things on helping people understand that, whiskey is not just a man's drink, and we're all going to be better to have, a more diverse and equitable place in industries and drinking whiskey. The guy in the middle, some of y'all I know, is Dan Crow from Glenmorangie. He is an absolute doll. He's so wonderful and knows so much about whiskey. This is Spirited Tracy on Instagram, and she's a distiller. She was Glenfiddich's brand ambassador for the U.S. She's a keeper of the Quake as well, and just knows her stuff and is always there to help lift other people up. And it was great to finally get to meet them. This Kanasuki Japanese whiskey was a real interesting thing and ended up winning basically a best in show, Four Tales of the Cocktail. Absolutely delightful. Very good. I'm not usually a big fan of Japanese whiskey. Holy smoke, this was good. Single malt, just interesting casks. I would suggest checking them out, doing a little digging on that. But yeah, that was the surprise of the whole thing for sure. And then I got to go to the Balcones dinner. So some of the brands will have dinners or big parties, and they'll rent out, a restaurant room, or they'll rent out a theater and throw a big party. William Grant throws an enormous party every year. It was at one of the theaters. One of them even rented out the World War II museum and threw a huge party. So I mean, it's all over, right? It's like the Super Bowl and Mardi Gras all together for the bar industry. And I got to go to the Balcones dinner, and which was amazing. I didn't count on it, but there was a way at the last minute I was able to go. And it's their 15th year anniversary at Balcones. And they have 3 different expressions to celebrate that. Beyond the fact that they have this, which I'll throw this over here real quick. Where's my mouse? There it is. Catalea. So I don't know if Zach is still on. Zach, have you had this yet? I haven't cracked it open. But this is their 15th year anniversary Texas single malt. Gorgeous bottle. Really cool label. But this is the one. So Zach, you're in Texas. Who's going to Waco anytime soon? This is only available at the distillery. It's called the Live Oak. And oh my word, that was so very good. The dinner was at Antoine's. Antoine's is the oldest restaurant in the United States. Let that sink in. In the United States, the oldest restaurant is in New Orleans, and it's Antoine's. And then not only was it Antoine's, but we were in the Rex King room. So we have Mardi Gras here, of course, right? And every parade is done by a crew or a club. And that club and crew is KREWE. And that crew has a king and a queen, and they're usually really high society, highbrow people. We talking bougie folks, okay? We talking. This is a club that you don't say I want to be in that club. You're born to this club, and only because of maybe some marriages would you get into that club. That's how exclusive it is. This room, and this is where the glass is with the chandelier. What you might not be able to see right back here is one of the gowns from the Queen one year. There was a $25,000 gown, all encrusted in crystals, and just absolutely stunning. The crowns, the scepters, the whole 9 yards. Pictures of each king from 1882, I believe, on. um, of Rex was in this room. So the room was amazing. And then you're drinking this really awesome whiskey. Um, so yeah, it was a really, really exquisite night. I laughed because I was sitting there and I looked down and the appetizer was like this crab meat salad. And I'm like, that's 40 damn dollars of crab meat sitting on my plate. It's just like, wow. The food was impeccable. It was troll grilled oysters, the crab meat salad. We had pompano fish. And then at the end, they bring out the baked Alaska, cut the lights, and poured Grand Marnier that they flamed out and threw cinnamon in it, and sparks went everywhere. And you know, it was totally a first class event because it was Antoine's and because it was Balcones. Um, got to have some of their rum as well, which was really interesting. But with all the kind of talking between the Balcones folks and the Diageo folks that were there, they're definitely focusing on rather those single malts for Balcones. So it's interesting to see how much more bourbon may be coming out of them. Definitely, I think they're going to be playing with the rum world some. But yeah, interesting. Mm. Yeah, Rob, that is definitely an old thing. So, do I think Balcones has become more corporate organization since the takeover? So, kinda. I think the original guys that are there, I think they're being um pretty strong because things are kind of brash in Texas. I say that with great pride. I think they're being very adamant about what they're wanting to do. Um, I will tell you that at the probably shouldn't say this on the line, but I did make a couple of comments to the people at Balcones that the enthusiasts are watching them very closely as to how they are going to treat Balcones because of that same kind of, are you going to go so corporate you're not going to let these people do and make the whiskey that they know how to make? You know, the Balcones people aren't gonna be able to tell you that kind of stuff, right? And they're not gonna tell me that. But I didn't have any problem telling the one from New York what I thought they should leave them alone. And that was only after the first cocktail, not all the drams that they gave us. So my opinion was made quite loudly to them that they should not fix Coke. Coca-Cola was fine, and we don't need new Coke. For those in the States, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Hey Scott, good to see ya. Um, yeah, Antoine's is absolutely great when it's especially when somebody else is paying for it, which they did. Yeah, and I was ever so thankful. Yes, it was made known. I did not mince a word at all. I had to explain to her some of the some of the some of the things about Mardi Gras that looked a little suspect to her, which was really pretty funny too. But yeah, Tales of Cocktails always fun. Andalusia had all the Texas whiskeys had a huge party. Wasn't able to go to that, but that was very well received. And um, you know, for all those who know about Texas, I know the Arizona folks are right there. It's hot in the summer, y'all. It's freaking hot. But you go to Texas because you go to see the people that you love. And you go see your friends, which means I went to Texas twice in 3 weeks to the same place. This next trip, I had planned the whole time. And then the dummies came up and said, "Hey, we've got our pick, we're bottling." And I'm like, "Well, I can't miss that, right?" So, this, y'all, we had so much fun. So Jennifer and I met in Austin. It was a chore for both of us to get there, but we ran loose in that town for about 72 hours and lived to tell about it. Nobody had to call for jail money. Started out, picked her up at the airport. We went to Still Austin, they had this frozen bourbon thing that was absolutely out of sight. It was so good, especially as hotter in hell as it was. The next day, we went to Andalusia again, saw Ty Phelps, and it's like, "Hey, honey, I'm home." He's like, "What are you doing back?" And he had just been to New Orleans the week before, and I think still feeling New Orleans, for that matter. So Jennifer hadn't been to Andalusia, so we went back out, spent the afternoon there, and it was fun. And then I'm very happy to announce, you're wondering who this individual was over here on the right-hand side with the cowboy hat. He could not be more not cowboy, because he is absolutely Irish from Mullingar Island. And that would be Niall Horan, who was playing in concert. So we built the trip around the concert. And he is the third One Direction member I have now collected. Harry Styles, Louis Tomlinson, and now Niall Horan. I'm so happy. Jennifer, we had so much fun. It was so much fun. But yeah. But yeah, we had a blast, and got to do that. It was so hot, y'all. So hot. The Uber drivers that we had were a bit mad, crazy mad, at times. But last year, Jennifer and I went to see Louis Capaldi in Houston. And we killed the bottle of 18-year-old Glenmorangie, because Louis Capaldi is Scottish, and we were not going to drink a margarita during his concert. I mean, that's just blasphemy, right? So we started out with Turner Dew for the Irish singers. And then, I will not confirm or deny, but I guess I basically am confirming it, 2 sample bottles were smuggled in. They just, so I think it was the Clynelish hand fill. And I'm trying to think what the other one was. Oh, I think it was one that Kevin gave me, some old something. I have to think. But yes, it was a lot of fun. We had fun, we sang, and we had a good time. And it was the best part about it is getting to hang out with Jennifer. Because she's a little far away, and I miss seeing my buddy. But yes, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. The Texas heat, the Texas heat, will drive anyone mad. Yes. And I-35 traffic in Austin is nuts for sure. Oh, it was the Campbelltown. Yes. Malt Fest. Yes, that's what it was. It was the Glen Scotia 2023 Festival Bottling. That's what it was. I knew you would remember. Man, the Duncan is so good. So yeah, so we've got a lot going on. That was a lot this summer, right? From 3 trips to working on all these bottles. Hey Martin, it was a boy. Yay! All right, everybody, raise a glass to cheers for the new child into the world. He grew up and know what good single malt is. Good job, Martin. That's so funny. But yeah, so we're excited about that. I'm starting to try to figure out when I'm going back to Scotland next year. That's a lot. Mark's got a big trip going over to England to metal detect in October. That's pretty exciting. It's going to be, I'm excited about the fall. This next show in 2 weeks. Remember, 1st and 3rd. I'm really excited about. I had a nice visit with Howard and Melissa, who have started Scotch Drinkers Only, an online retailer. And I even talked to Graham a little bit, but there's things that I've seen over in Scotland that there's no way I can find on my shelves here, right? And to be fair to the shelves here, the retailers here can't say, oh, well, let's just get all this dram more in and let's get Lady of the Glen. And they don't have the capacity to do that, right? Distributors aren't going to maybe grab some of those labels, but my friends over there know how good they are. And so evidently does Melissa and Howard. So they have worked up a business to bring those over. So we're going to go over. I've got 5 drams that they sent me. So in 2 weeks, we're going to visit with them on that. I've got a couple of other really cool things. We're doing more shorts on YouTube. If you see those, hit the like button, make a quick comment, and that'll help whatever the algorithm thinks it wants to do this week. So that's a lot of fun. I've been doing some comparison between 2 kind of close whiskeys. So that's a lot of fun. But as always, I want to hear from you all and tell me what you all think and what you're looking for this year. I've got a couple camp drams coming out, as well as some other videos, which I'm pretty stoked about. Yeah. So again, really appreciate. We're working on our Camp Drammers are coming up on 2 years, in November will be 2 years that some of y'all have been Camp Drammers, and now by offering the opportunity for Patreon, we're going to be able to kick up quite a bit, and so I really do appreciate that. I would love feedback on the Patreon thing. You can always get me at scotchandthebayou@gmail.com. Find me on socials. All of those fun things. I hope you all are excited about first and third Tuesdays and want to be part of this. Yeah. So what? That was, thank you, Chad, because I was wanting to see what people were doing. So, because I can't read. So we went to KW is the their the whiskey mill up there in Alberta. God, what's his name? Yeah. Day 1, over 40 whiskeys, only 3 under 30 years. Good gravy. Richard Urquhart was there. What? Jennifer and I really like Richard. He's such a super nice guy. Yeah. Oh, that sounds like a great summer. It really does. Um, Andrew's getting into all kinds of trouble. And I love this. So we talked, Tom was on early this afternoon and left a message. Graham, I don't know if you caught that in the early part, but yeah, he was talking about him having an early night because they're in Edinburgh for their last week. And I know that you took them to the Curly Coo. Yeah, it is. I could say that place all day, every day, just about. And Jennifer, we had Kelpie there. So yeah, I had my first lag there as well. So yeah, it was really cool. Good to see you, Drew. I talked about you. Were your ears burning? I have a wee little bit. So Drew is the one who actually designed this label painstakingly, right? It's so cool. But yeah, Drewy, let me flip back here real quick since you're on and you can see. I had to show everybody how much fun we had. And this is Drew, y'all. How much fun we had in Andalusia and enjoyed being part of that crew to bottle and label. I couldn't do the labels. It was too much pressure. Martin's wife, Hazel, top labeler, her or Andrew, but because Andrew's an engineer and he's so anal retentive about getting this straight, it's like, no, put me in front of the bottle and I can put bottler and I can push a button. I'm real good at that. So yeah, but I'm excited about this fall. We're gonna do some cool stuff. But yeah, like I said, let me know what you think about the Patreon if you have any questions about that. Topics for the year. And we'll be here in 2 weeks for the third Tuesday. and we'll do this all over again. And we'll be there with the Scotch drinkers only people. And thanks again, everybody who was on tonight. We had a super crew. It was great to see everybody. I don't want to leave. I know we're over time, but I don't want to leave. We're having so much fun. Drew, y'all picked a hell of a good bottle. I got to tell you, it was really good. Love it. All right, folks, I'm gonna let y'all out. Have a great time. Graham, Andrew, go to sleep, and know that we'll be back in 2 weeks for another Scotch on the Bayou live. Until then, like I said, Sandra, y'all.